Welcome back to the Dragon Den, my loyal Dragonites. King of Dragons 5000 is back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. So here we have Poison Ivy posing out of the packaging, and does she look spectacular. Besides coming with the main components from Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy really doesn't come with any other accessories. So with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at Poison Ivy. So here we have a closer look at Poison Ivy, and oh boy, does this figure look really good. It's obvious that McFarlane took a lot of love and care when designing this figure, and it really does show here. Taking a look at the head sculpt, it's not a 100% likeness to Uma Thurman, however it is a really good Poison Ivy head sculpt. I love the foliage that she has on her head, and the paint job on it is spectacular with the lighter greens over the darker green. And of course her hair is red, long and beautiful, and looks spectacular here. The vines do continue onto her very vibrant red hair, where we do have a little bit of shading in her hair. And a small little detail that they were able to put onto the figure is she is wearing Ivy earrings. As far as her outfit goes, Poison Ivy is wearing a corset which has a lot of nice detail, especially with the foliage and paint job. There's a lot of leaves going throughout her corset, and one thing I'm really surprised at is that McFarlane was able to actually add a lot of paint to this figure. It does a really good job bringing Poison Ivy to life, and I absolutely love the way it looks. Taking a look at Poison Ivy's arm, she is wearing light green arm sleeves which look really good here. At the top of the arm sleeve she has this leaf pattern which looks really good. Unfortunately it's not painted. And you can actually see some really nice details with some folds and wrinkles going throughout her sleeve. At the bottom of the arm sleeves it continues that leafy pattern which looks really good here. In her open hand you can see she does have a green leaf which is painted really nicely. And her right hand is style pose which looks really good here. The bottom of Ivy's corset continues that really impressive leaf pattern, and the paint job is spectacular here. And then finally she is wearing these dark green stockings which impressively have this really good paint effect to them. But her stockings have this really nice paint job where we do have this really impressive light green airbrush on the front of her thighs. Starting off on the left side, she does have a vine going from her corset all the way down to her knee. And as we go down to her feet, it does have an airbrush that starts transitioning into black. She also has these sculpted vines going from her boots all the way up to her shins. Poison Ivy is wearing high-heeled shoes which look good, and they are just done in black plastic. A nice little detail is that you can see the sculpt work in her shoes separating the stocking from the rest of her high-heeled shoes. So overall, Poison Ivy is a well-detailed figure and has a phenomenal paint job which isn't really seen on too many McFarlane figures. With her impressive details out of the way, let's compare her to our usual suspects. Here we have Poison Ivy posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and DC Multiverse Superman. Mattel's WWE Elite Series and Mezco's 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. The Lightning Collection White Ranger and the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally we have Poison Ivy posed next to the rest of the McFarlane Batman and Robin line. So as you can see, Poison Ivy scales really nicely and is slightly taller because she is wearing high-heeled shoes. With the comparisons out of the way, let's have a look at her articulation. Poison Ivy has a double ball joint in the head, ball sockets in her shoulders, arms do go out to the side and do a full 360, a swivel in her arm sleeve and double hinged elbows, a swivel hinge in her wrists. Poison Ivy has a ball joint in her upper torso and a ball joint in her lower torso. Her legs do kick forward, go back, out to the side, and have a thigh swivel. She has a double bend in her knee, a swivel hinge in her ankle, forward facing pin for rocker ankle, and finally a toe hinge. So overall, Poison Ivy will have your standard McFarlane Multiverse articulation scheme. So with that being said, let's get to Poison Ivy posed for my final thoughts. The McFarlane DC Multiverse Poison Ivy is a really good figure, and the fact that it comes out of a movie line is rather impressive. Out of all the figures of this particular line, I think Poison Ivy has the most amount of paint detail on her. Not only with the subtle shading in her hair, which is done really nicely, but all the paint throughout her corset and the leaves is just really good. It's really hard for me to put it into words of how good this actually looks. Add to it the transition from lights to darks all the way to black on her stockings just shows how much love and care went into Poison Ivy. My one and only gripe is that her hair does limit some of the head articulation, but overall it's really hard for me to find too many flaws with this figure. Poison Ivy will fit in perfectly with your Batman and Robin collection, but she'll also fit in everywhere else in your Multiverse collection. It's a really good Poison Ivy that you can put anywhere in your Multiverse display, so it's a really sought after figure at this point. Add to it, she does have the main torso for Mr. Freeze, so if you want to complete Mr. Freeze, you kind of have to get Poison Ivy to do so. But overall, I highly recommend Poison Ivy for any Multiverse or DC collector out there, because she is a very beautiful figure. With that being said, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out all my other action figure and Multiverse videos. Show your allegiance to the Dragon Den by joining our Patreon for some exclusive content. Check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, recent pickups, latest prints, and as always, ring that bell so you never miss another video. And until next time, my fellow Dragon Knights coming from the Dragon Den, I'm King of Dragons 5000, reminding you to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. I'll see you next time.